Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to do something a little different, and I'm going to pause it right here because we're going to go over the All for One quest. And my goal here is to show you, make you understand how to deal with the one punch game over cheese strategy for this quest. And what you need uh, to be able to do that is this guy right here. I should not use yellow, that's a bad idea. But Deku here is really good in this stage, and the reason why is because of his abilities. He has two Slayers on him, which is the Counter Slayer, which if anything attacks him, he becomes an enemy to all classes that attack him. And he has the Vital Slayer, where if the enemy has at least 50% of their HP, then he also becomes a Slayer. The moment they go under that limit, then he is no longer a Slayer. So, taking advantage of all of that, 3 power-up walls and the Elemental Zone gives him enough damage to just wipe out all of the boss's HP in the very first gauge. So we're going to try and make sure you can get there. And the important thing to do that in the first place is understanding these gimmicks, because they are very unique. They don't come up very often, and maybe it's a little bit difficult to understand what's going on here. So let me clean up my plate and let's try it one more time. So, as I said, we have elemental walls, and these elemental walls are pretty annoying to deal with because, as you can see, they straddle 3 particular walls. And what you need to do is when you hit them, you will get extra damage. However, it resets if you ever hit an enemy. So, for example, if Venus was to do this, you get 1 power-up wall here, but the moment you hit that enemy, you go back down to 0. And so even if you come back here again, because you already hit this side of the wall, you're not going to get a bonus anymore. Alright? So that's one scheme. Now, let's say you actually want to stack damage. So let's say Titania here. She's able to do this. Right? Great. She gets 1 here, 2 here, and does even more damage to that enemy that way. And I'm sure you can guess now, if you're able to hit all 3 walls without hitting anything, then that does so much more damage than any of the other options. Alright, so your goal is to hit all of these power balls without hitting anything in between. The moment you hit anything that's an enemy, it resets back to 0. And this quest is dependent upon you doing damage, because if you don't do enough, all that damage gets reduced to 1, as if it was a scorpion. So if you can't stack them up, that's no good. Now, you can see on the stage are these little white zones, right? Those are the element areas. And as you can imagine, by hitting an enemy in that area, you're going to be able to do a lot more damage. Now, the hit boxes for this is kind of, I guess, a little bit difficult to understand, right? I don't even fully understand, but as you may know, your enemies are basically circles, right? The circle has a center point, of course. Now, you being in this elemental zone is key. Now, knowing where exactly your center point is and what exactly are the requirements of being in the elemental zone versus getting that damage up, I honestly don't know 100%. But, if you hit something like this direction, there's a good chance you're not going to end up hitting them. Now, you might have this situation where you get in there, right? And then, hey, it counts. Hey, bam. Well, that's a good thing. But, it could easily be, like, maybe you come this way and you hit him there. You're outside of the zone, so you're not going to get any bonus. So that's why in this stage, you're going to see a bunch of times where you think you should have done damage, but you actually didn't. And it's just because of this small region here where you're just outside of the elemental zone, or you're just inside the elemental zone, and that makes or break whether or not you do enough damage. Now, I looked around the internet, and the app bank walkthrough sites did actually put up some numbers as to what is good enough to do damage. Now, I don't know if it's 100% accurate, but I'm going to present it here for you guys so you can take a look and you can try to use it. But you can see that the amount of bonus damage that the elemental area does by itself is huge, right? So you can just check with those pierce obstructors, right? For most people, all you need is at least 26,000 damage to have enough to kill a obstructor just in that elemental area, right? You go in there directly, you're going to be able to do enough damage, wipe them out. This includes gauge bonus, so you know, or maybe you don't know, when you hit the maximum portion of your gauge, you actually get an attack bonus out of that. So I know a lot of people don't want to do calculations. This is probably easier to do just by experiencing this stage, understanding what it takes to take out the monster. But again, this situation right here can make it a little bit difficult to understand, you know, when it was good or not good enough. But in general, you can see that these attack ranges scale pretty hard based on whether or not you're in a elemental zone, right? And the difference between 2 power-up balls and 3 power-up balls for the specters, right? Certain monsters will have slayers. For example, I do believe Sailor Venus and definitely Deku there on the right have enough damage so that you only need the 2 power-up balls plus the elemental area to do damage. Whereas most other people will comfortably be able to kill anything with 3 power-up balls and the element area. The only downside is hitting 3 power walls is hard. Alright, I've already talked for 6.5 minutes and we haven't even started this stage. So let's finally get started. Hopefully that makes sense. Right? I'll leave that chart up there for everybody to see. But so we want to have that V angle here to make sure we hit that pierce obstructor in the elemental area to guarantee we're going to do damage, right? I just go for the wall too, just to give myself a little bit more insurance that I'll kill it, because I mean it's fairly easy. I don't want to deal with that square situation I was showing you, right? It's easy to hit one wall, right? It's one bounce, so that's why I'm just doing that for my sanity's sake. You probably can do it by going directly into the elemental zone though, like as you can see with the damage count up there. Okay, so now this next attack is going to do that situation where it looks like I hit 2 power balls and got him in the elemental zone, but didn't take him down. Now there's of course 2 possibilities. Maybe I didn't have the counter slayer up, so he doesn't get that bonus. And maybe I was just slightly outside of the zone, which wasn't enough. And again, it is really tough to tell whether or not you're in the zone. And I honestly don't have any advice for you as to what it takes to know if you're in there. It's just try better next time and just angle it so you have a better chance of getting into that area, right? Right. I think like I end up doing something like this, right? And that's a little bit iffy, right? Because if maybe I'm here and then my circle's out here, and because this is like a diamond zone, right? Maybe I'm far enough outside that it doesn't call me inside the elemental zone, so I don't get any damage boosts from that. I wish I could slow it down, but yeah, you know, I kind of hit him at where that border was, so I think I was just slightly outside of that area for that to count. But 2 should have been enough to kill him. Alright, and as you can see, Venus was there. I actually hit 3 walls, and because she does have that Dark Slayer on her, it does fully guarantee that I was killing it in that move. Also important to note here is that big numbers on all of these monsters actually aren't death counters, so you can have a little bit leeway. It's, I think, in the mid 20,000s in terms of damage, so it's not the end of the world for them to explode. And actually, for the strategy of cheating, you actually do want to stall a little bit, right? You need to make sure that the second tier of Deku's strike shot is up. If that is up, you can one punch the boss. So you do want to stall as much as possible. Now you don't want to have all of them up, because then they'll explode all over the place and then you'll watch your HP whittle away. But also don't forget that when you clear a map in this mission, you will not heal 50% of your HP. It is up to you to utilize the hearts or other abilities, or you can use the helper item, which is the gold item in this stage, which functions like Kiss Kill Lyra's ability where when you clear a stage, you'll heal to max HP. So if you find yourself struggling with HP, go ahead and buy that. It's very cheap. I wouldn't blame you to do that. Now, as you can see, I am taking my sweet time here. Not on purpose, just because I'm bad. That Spectre on top exploded, but I guess that was a little bit under 40,000 damage. No big deal. Take your time. I get lucky here with Deku's critical attack. I think that was maybe only one power-up wall. But that bonus was pretty darn good. So we're able to take him out. Again, ability locks aren't good. You always have the chance of avoiding it, but you know, with all these warps, you really can't control yourself. So again, since I have the time, I'm not worried too much about not killing him. Take your sweet time. Titania is good here because Titania has the bash kick strike shot, and that kick motion does do enough damage to cross the threshold, so you can take him out that way. You probably want to save that for the boss stage, just to clear out the garbage so that Deku can use his strike shot. Save it for that, for sure. It is a short cooldown, so if you feel like there's too many enemies up, you can go ahead and use that there to clean up the stage. Not a problem. Okay, so this stage, again, there's the two pierce obstructors on the edges. Get rid of them real quick. Again, the requirements to take them out is not that difficult as long as you're in the element area. If you're iffy, just make sure you hit a power-up wall and hit them in the element area, and you're basically guaranteed to kill them. They're just in the way. Right? Now, you see that the Spectre there and the large knight on the right. The large right on your knight is your mini-boss. If you are using Venus here, I would highly suggest getting rid of that warp machine as soon as possible, because this will allow you to stall a little. Right? If you're able to take out the warp machine, you're basically guaranteed to use Venus's strike shot, which is going to delay him a few turns. And also reduce his attack, I think, with a chance probability. But having those two in tandem allows you to stall pretty comfortably. Now, of course, this does mean, not everybody has Venus, right? She is from a collab. But, once I saw it cracking and I knew it was actually an option to kill it, then, well, I am running out of time here to kill it, and, well, I took it down. So now I knew, okay, well, Venus's strike shot is a delay. Why not? I'm not sure if I can kill him, but basically with the knight being the only thing on this map, there's a 100% chance that the chain will cross him, right? There you go. I'm going to give myself peace of mind, give me a few extra turns to recover, and attack down, and delayed by 2 turns. Alright, now, let's see if I can actually utilize the walls to hit him. Getting that, shallowy angle gives you a chance to peek in from the side there to knock him out. And unfortunately, Seimei couldn't do it, but again, the damage is somewhat manageable. I think they made it a little bit easier because they knew you're not healing across the map. I don't know, I'll take the niceness. That makes it really easy. I see Deku didn't need to get any power-up walls to take out the Pierce Obstructor because he hit him on top through the element area, which is, of course, again, the key to this stage. So, enough's enough. It's about time to try and take out that knight. I don't think I was in the element area. But, okay. So, again, remember, the goal here is to finish this on this stage, right? So your goal is to take out those specters ASAP. Clear the stage for Deku. Deku is the star here, right? If we can kill him this quickly, taking out that specter on the bottom right is all you need to do, right? There is a path. Of course, it depends where your Deku is. If you don't see it, forget it. But with Titania here, you are guaranteed to knock out that Spectre. Right? Same A's turn here, forget about it. If you need to nudge Deku a little bit, use this turn as the opportunity to nudge him. Right? So here's the moment of truth, right? Find a path that ends in the elemental area and hits all 3 power balls. Take your time, because this is all you need to do to clear the stage. Right? Sit down, think a little bit, use your geometry, right? Because, like, let's say we want to do something like this, right? We don't want to go directly. We need to hit 3 power balls, right? If you remember geometry, angle in is angle out. Now, I know Monster Strike is full of regular bounces, but the side walls are absolutely straight. If you're bouncing off a straight surface, it's going to follow this rule. Right? So just try and build in. And if you need to draw it, go ahead. Take your time. There's nobody that's going to say you're cheating, right? Do something like this. Right? So something like this is possible, right? I mean, of course, this angle is a little off. So, you know, it's a little bit fishy. But, you know, you see that there's some kind of path here that can get you to the elemental area, 3 power balls, and there's nothing in the way, right? You could even go something more shallower here, right? Like, oh no. All right, back. Right, you could go anything more, a little bit more shallower, right? Let's see what I actually try. All right. So I went for something like this. Just draw it out. Take your time. See if it's possible. Again, you do this correctly, you save the headache of 3 gauges worth of the boss. It is absolutely worth breathing, taking your time. If you do this solo, you have that luxury. If you're co-oping, you don't have that luxury. You have 60 seconds, maybe even only 30 seconds. I don't know, since it's not an impossible. But, right, so... Right, so I'm trying to plan something like this. Great. Right, like my first angle, like maybe I could do that. It looked a little weird. Adjust, see what works, make it happen. Because your reward is skipping 3 whole bars. Right, you see this? The moment you see something that big, over 10 million, start celebrating. You have hit the threshold. The game is over. And he just dies out right there. Now, if you do not do this within the first, I think, 3 or 4 turns, all for one. Oops. I always forget if I'm in the edit mode or not. All for one here, we'll start moving over here. So when you move there, then you have to start looking for an angle that comes in this way. Right? There is a little bit of space here to hit him on that top part of that elemental area. That's going to be your target. I feel like the amount of area you get by going this way is much more bigger and much more reliable than up there. But at least for me, I've been lucky enough to get him while he was still in that first zone. But yeah, like the combination here, I feel like is super important in my point of view. I know not everybody's gonna have Titania, but Titania is probably one of those like monsters you don't really use, but that kick up attack, right? It guarantees you clean up the stage for whatever is in your way, right? And if you do this quick enough, there's just not that many enemies in the way for you. So actually, do you want to go back a little bit? So like if you can, right, here we go. Like when we start this stage, right, you only have those little guys here. I think eventually some kind of one of the peer substructures shows up here, and like I said, all for one will start moving over this way and kind of mess with your groove, right? But by me taking out this guy ASAP, I've opened up the whole bottom side of the map, giving me the opportunity for Deku here, right? With that much freedom to move around in basically this whole area, only to end up in that top elemental area? I'm almost certain, no matter what, you can find an angle, regardless of where you are. I mean, of course, if you're up here, you're kind of screwed, right? But making sure you have that open stage, super paramount. Now, of course, I kind of got lucky with the turn order, right? I'm not going to try and say that I planned who was clearing the previous stage so that this can happen. It just worked out that way. But even if you don't think it through, you're just playing it. Eventually, one of your runs is going to hit this situation. Keep this in mind, and maybe you can just one punch and completely cheese all for one. Because remember, all you need to do is clear the stage one time, and let's see. I think I do it right. All you need to clear is once. You can get drops from luck chests, normal stuff, but once you're done, all you have to do is go into the coin exchange store and use this to finish off all for one. You get 98 exchanges from the store. You are guaranteed one drop just by clearing. I mean, you also get one for the no continue, so you'll always have an extra copy in your box. But if you want to make multiple max licks, sure, go ahead. You're not going to get an Able Berry badge for fusing 2, but if you just want to step up the count, I don't know why, because it is a pretty painful stage, minus the cheesing. I don't know if you can guarantee it all the time, but I know a lot of people were asking in the Discord I was in, so I just thought I'd sit down and break it down to you a little bit so that, like I said, I consider myself like a borderline top middle player, right? So if I can do it, you can too. There's plenty of strategies out there using drop monsters. I would recommend watching Fecko's video, for example, if you want to see how drop monsters can clear that. I'll put his link down there. That's definitely useful for those of you who are just starting out this quest. But regardless of what that is, the key monster to clearing it is Deku. So hopefully you can find somebody that'll friend you that has it. If they have an S++ Strike Shot Haste Berry on them, that's even better, because it even strengthens the chance that you have that second tier Strike Shot ready to go when you go into that first boss stage. Honestly, skipping bars is very important, and the fact that you only need to clear this once to do it, why not take advantage of it if you can? Because you don't need to have the Deku. As long as your friend has it, it's good. Alright, this is a long video, but hopefully I wasn't rambling too much, and the annotations at the beginning and the end was helpful enough to give you an idea of how this one punch strategy could work. If you need the numbers, here you go. Use them to understand what your one punch line is to take out the various minions on the stage. Again, this does include the bonus for hitting your gauge at the maximum value. So if you hit that threshold, congratulations, you can do that with these requirements on the side. Knowing if you need 2 or 3 power-up walls can make your life a little easier. And as you can see, you can bring weak monsters. It just means your requirement to take down those monsters are a little bit harder. Alright. Let me know if you have any questions below. I'll be happy to answer for you. This is up for the entirety of the quest. You just need to make sure to find him when he shows up in the schedule to actually take him on. So, until next time. Bye-bye.